have a lot of healing, and it's going to be great. So my name is Kiana Del Rey. You can catch me outside, aka in the playroom. So so I love you guys. I'm gonna head over there. Just actually no one's in there, so I think I'm okay. But yeah, I'm super excited. I hope that you guys are having a lot of fun. Can we all just like give hearts to Sheri? Like, I just need everyone to react to heart right now. Like, throw your hearts up on the screen because Sheri's amazing. Thank you, Sheri, for hosting this wonderful event. And if you haven't already sent your love donation, go ahead and send those over, because this holistic health fair is such a blessing, is it not? It is just touching the lives of so many people. So if you can give a donation to support this fair today, do it, because oh my gosh, we are changing lives, and we want to continue changing lives right here, right now.
Woohoo! Okay, so she'll be in room number 1 entertaining you and introducing the speakers. And if you want to stop into room number 155, someone let her know that she's up on the stage in room number 1. So she
I will go let her know really quick. And yes, I will go hunt her down. Thank you guys.
So let her know, and you can entertain them until she arrives.
Okay, perfect.
She has a whole bunch of people in her room. Tell her to pull them over to her show over there. Okay, great. Thank you, Kiana. Beautiful. So I need Raphael's bio. Let's see where he is. Where is that? Hold on, guys.
Just posted it.
Huh? Did you put it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's start.
Okay. Okay, Raphael Weisman. He is joining us from Santa Fe, New Mexico. He is known as the Santa Fe Shungite Man, and amongst other things, but that's what his AKA is. He is also an author, a retired Harp-maker living in Santa Fe. He's a channel for the healing guidance of the angels. He's a visionary, a poet, an editor, a writer, a dancer, a hiker, and a lover of trees and nature. He is a musician and loves to sing and jam on his flute, saxophone, harp, and harmonica. I wish he'd play for us. And he provides Shungite for the protection from EMF frequencies. He's also a facilitator and a trainer of transformational modality called the HeartThread, and is a minister and the author of a channeled book called The Path of the Spiritual Warrior by the New Earth Council. Every Tuesday night at 8:30, he channels an online class called Meet the Guides, an evening with the guides where he shares messages and answers your questions. So welcome to the stage, Raphael.
Thank you very much. Let's hit record. Wow. Thank you, Sheri, for doing this. Always a pleasure. It's been nonstop and great fun to be able to communicate with so many wonderful people and to find so many accordances. The talk I'm going to give now is going to be somewhat of a combination of me and the guides, because you put in the word mystical, the mystical nature of Shungite, or something like that. And it's one of my passions, this miracle product called Shungite. This is a piece of it. It looks like a shiny piece of coal. This landed on planet Earth in Karelia, Russia, somewhere around 50 million years ago, billion years ago. And it has what we're going to call mystical properties. It actually has magical properties. It has the ability to reverse anything negative, like electromagnetic frequencies that can harm your biology. It also can help to reverse the negative spin of your thought processes. It also can help to purify water. It makes the water that you drink antiviral, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory. It helps to build your immune system. It helps to reduce levels of pain. it helps to ground. When you take a piece of shungite and you hold it, here's a massage stone. If you hold it, almost immediately you can feel yourself settle. You feel yourself grounding. Feel yourself connecting to Mother Earth. And this is when we start to look at the quality of what is mystical. What does it mean to have a mystical quality, mystical properties? In some ways, it means that you are connected to that which I call the supreme intelligence, that which is the source of all that is, that which created you and me and created all that is. Somewhere, you might say, in the mind of God 50 billion years ago, the energy of source orchestrated some giant explosion somewhere in the cosmos that sent a comet or some fragment of planet shooting in its direction towards our Mother Earth. And it landed with a tremendous impact. And all of this material, this black mineral that contains these very special molecules of carbon called fullerenes, it directed it to land in a particular place in Russia called Karelia, so that one day, 50 billion years later, a civilization like ours that has gone crazy and has created all the most incredible technologies and intelligences that can provide this instant communication, that can even create the foundation for our ability to communicate in this way. And yet, alongside of this amazing gift that we have brought forth for our civilization, we have also brought with it the most incredible harm to populations of insects, of bees that are dying, of earthworms that are dying within the soil from the antennas and the frequencies and the vibrations. We live in a sea of frequencies, a sea of magnetism and electric currents that are going unseen into and through our very bodies, through our minds, affecting everything and all life on this planet. And so in the great wisdom of Creator's intelligence, this fragment of some planet landed and brought to us the ability to turn around the negative energies of this intelligence that we have created, the technologies that we have created, and allow us to reverse it into a positive way. So that when you put pieces of shungite in front of the beehives, the bees gravitate to it. They bring it into the hive, they fly over it, and they begin to multiply again instead of dying. When you put it into the water, it dismantles the molecules of toxicity that are in the tap water, that are in the waters that are so polluted. It actually takes apart the molecules of poisons and breaks them up into their individual atoms, such that they harmlessly pass through you. And at the same time, it structures the water so that the water becomes like living water. It becomes healthful, and it becomes water that is able to help cure you of many of the ailments of the lifestyles that many people live today. And so this gift from Mother Earth and of Father Sky has this mystical ability. And nobody really knows how it does it, except that there is this particular molecule of carbon that the scientists knew about. They knew that it existed somewhere in a star that was exploding out in the furthest reaches of the cosmos, a supernova. They could identify that there was this molecule somewhere in outer space. And they were able to synthesize it in the laboratory. And they called it C60, a particular molecule that they named after Buckminster Fuller because of his domes, because of his theories. They called it a fullerene. And this particular molecule has a structure made up of five-sided and six-sided combinations of atoms. This is what it looks like. It's almost like a hollow soccer ball, and it has the ability to transport nutrients across the cell membrane within the hollow structure. It also has the ability, as we said, to take a negative torsion field and turn it into a positive one. It has the ability, in fact, to protect you from much of the electromagnetic radiation that is affecting your biology through the use of smartphones, through the use of technology of computers and all the communication devices, the smart meters, all of the things that have become part and parcel of life on Earth in our so-called civilized world. And so once there was a woman called Nancy, name escapes me right now. She was working as an intelligence officer for the US Army. She became a remote viewer. One of her jobs was to send her consciousness to spy via the astral planes on the so-called enemy. And in the process, she was able to witness that the Russians were using this material shungite to shield themselves, to protect themselves from the radiation of their nuclear testing. And she brought this awareness back to the West and started to distribute the shungite. She brought it to the West, she brought it and started to use it because she discovered that the bees loved it, and that when the bees were able to access the shungite, it would help their hives, it would help them to grow, to swarm again, and to come back to full vigor. They would take some down to the queen, and the hives would start to develop again and be healthy again. And she also discovered that if you had a pyramid or a sphere or a piece of shungite next to your modem or next to your device, that actually it would create a protective shield around you. And each size or each particular shape of shungite would have a particular effect, such that a pyramid, and you can get these pyramids from this size, which is about 5 centimeters, all the way to about 20 centimeters. If you had that in your office, it would negate the negative effects of all of the devices that you had. You could take a plate, a piece of shungite tile, engraved or not engraved, and you could place it under your modem, and it would help to mitigate the negative effects of the vibrations that came out of that modem that would affect the biology. Because many people today are suffering tremendously from the effects of these electromagnetic frequencies. I constantly receive calls from people that are having all sorts of shaking and vibrations and things from their cell phones, from their the wires that are coming into their homes, all of the devices. And so using shungite is a gift of Mother Earth and of Father Sky, which is why I gravitate to the idea of it being a mystical energy. because it also helps you to connect with your own source, your own inner guidance, your own inner wisdom. One of the things that holding a piece of Shungite will do, if you sit and meditate, holding a piece of Shungite, like a chunk of it or a sphere. And I used to meditate with a sphere. I would sit and hold a sphere every morning when I would meditate. And then I started discovering that this form of Shungite, called noble or elite, that's only 1% of the entire field that extends to many kilometers square and many hundreds of feet deep in Russia. If you hold a piece of this Shungite, it will open your root chakra. It will actually align all of your chakras. So if you're holding a cell phone and you take a Kirlian photograph, and you can actually see the aura, or if you're intuitive enough, like the woman who wrote this book about Shungite, Regina Martina, she used to use her own way of being able to test, and she documents and has diagrams of how holding a cell phone affects your the lineup of your chakras, and what happens when you have that cell phone and you're holding a piece of Shungite against your body or against your heart, how it totally reconnects your chakras and brings them back into an alignment, at least to some degree, because you still have that radiation coming out of the phone. And so more and more, she discovered how you could use the Shungite as a beneficial adjunct. And so also they started to create in Russia, and then she transported this to France, where she lives in Paris, to create rooms that were lined in Shungite. These tiles, they would create bigger tiles, and they would tile the whole room, including the floor. They would use Shungite powder in the paint, and they would create a room that was like a Shungite chamber. They would use it to counsel children that had been involved in a terrorist attack at a school. And they discovered that the results they were getting from counseling these children was increased tremendously, and they were having greater and greater success. Also with guards in prisons that had been affected by some major incident, some major event. And the way in which Shungite was originally discovered to have these properties was that the people in the village of Shunga, which is the name of the village that gave its name to Shungite, where there was also a lake and where the water would flow over these rocks. And they found that the animals would come to drink the water to heal themselves. And the Tsar Peter the Great discovered that the soldiers who were sent on assignment to that area would quickly heal of their ailments, and they would have a much stronger immune system. Immune defenses would be stronger, and they would not succumb to many of the illnesses that others would be affected by. And so he understood that there were some healing properties, and he gave every soldier in his army a nugget of Shungite to put in their canteens. And none of the soldiers would get dysentery. Finding clean water was always an issue for armies. And so the Russians were successful in many of their battles because the enemy did not have access to clean water and would have dysentery and other illnesses that derived from this. But because of the Shungite in their canteens, all of his soldiers remained healthy and strong. Eventually, he built a palace and a spa in the area. And of course, once the big revolution came, all of those things were in many ways wiped away. And the memory of the use of Shungite was very restricted. It was only known to the scientists and to those local people who used it for healing and for drinking that water for their own purposes. But also because of places like Chernobyl and because of Fukushima, the world is still plagued with a tremendous amount of radiation. And because the mass media are able to make sure that not many people understand that the incidence of radiation from the leaking of the nuclear power plants is still with us. It has wafted its way across the oceans and has reached all the way from Japan to the western coast of the United States. It has not disappeared. Radioactivity does not just go away, it stays with us. And so there are many ways in which we recommend that you take some precautions around helping your body to heal of radiation poisoning and also of the effects of the electromagnetic frequencies, but also of all the other toxicities, the heavy metals that are in the soil, in the air, that are being sprayed in the air with the chemtrails. And we also would like to mention the fact that your current proliferation of the 5th generation, the 5G, that is now reaching tremendous proportions, where there are more and more satellites put out into space to send out these vibrations, and even being located on the ocean floor, with the intention of ensuring that the whole planet is covered by a field, a sea of radiation that is going to affect the lives of many. It will definitely affect the sperm count and the ability of fertility. It affects so many aspects of our lives, and that those people who are more and more sensitive are going to be the ones to suffer the most. It is also known by many that the combination of that which you call the virus or the vaccine and the EMFs, especially the 5G, all work together to create a strong effect on the immune system, so that human beings do not have the same ability that they used to protect themselves from the harmful radiations. Not only that, but there are cosmic bombardments of frequencies and cosmic rays that are reaching the planet at this time as we move through the photon belt, that are affecting human biology, that are creating what many are calling ascension sickness, such that people are having headaches or having dizziness or having the inability to sleep well. Many of the effects are multiplying one with the other to create a very difficult environment to maintain a sense of groundedness, to be able to feel that you are able to be in a place of composure, to be in a place of peace within yourself, to have the ability to stop rushing around, to be focused on speed and more speed and on urgency, and be able to find a way instead to allow the stillness, to allow time in nature, to eat healthy food, to protect yourself from these radiations through the ingestion of sea buckthorn, SEABUCKTHORN. Sea buckthorn is a plant that grows in the high mountains in Siberia. It grows in the Tibetan mountains and all of the high places. And it is one of the most potent remedies for radiation, along with seaweed, which provides a natural antidote to the heavy metals. And so it is important that you take good care of your body, which is one of the reasons why we are recommending that you use the Shungite to create purified water. Even if it is reverse osmosis, the Shungite will then help to structure it and to ensure that any other elements that are able to penetrate into the water will be dismantled. We also recommend that you have Shungite on your person, that you have a pendant or some way that you can walk around, whether it be a simple piece of Shungite on a piece of string, or you have a fancy one on a nice silver chain, and that you have it around your neck, such that you are able to protect your torso or your body. You can go fancy if you like and have nice silver wound ones, wraps. We have jewelry, you can wear it as a ring. Whatever you do, have as much protection as you possibly can. You could put one of these little patches on your laptop or a smaller one on your cell phones, and they will help. Today, it is very difficult within this expanding sea of attack on the biology to be able to completely eliminate any effects of the Shungite. We also make these, this one here, me, that's Raphael, makes these beautiful combinations of Shungite with other stones, and he makes them also with these bracelets. Thank you, Lynette, for your inspiration to do that. However you get it, though, it is important to recognize that Shungite is an ally. It has these mystical properties to be able to reverse the negative spin, the negative torsion field that the onslaught on your biology is having. It helps to create a positive spin. And so as an extension, shall we say, of this mystical property of reversing negativity, we're recommending that you do the same thing for your thoughts, for your belief systems, for the words that run around in your head, and for the words that come out of your mouth. That each time you notice that you are focusing on worry, that you are focusing on negativity, it is important that you reverse that spin and you start to cancel that thought. You start to let go of those words and replace them with positive words, with positive thinking, and with positive attitudes. And so we have an array of items of Shungite. I don't know how we're doing on time, but these are
We're good.
Messiah stones. How are we doing?
You good?
We're good. We also have fun little things like these word stones. You can pick a stone, carry it around in your body with different words on it that will help to create a positive vibration for you that you hold within you. We have spheres. A nice way to meditate is to hold a sphere. Just holding this little sphere immediately grounds you. It's like you can feel the energy going down through your feet, through your roots into Mother Earth. Feeling like that tree, connecting the earth and the heaven. Because once you strengthen your root, once you create and establish that connection with Mother Earth beneath you, the automatic response is to then take it up through your heart, up towards heaven, up to Father Sky, because this gift is a gift from heaven as well as from the earth. And it is that spark of divine fire, that connection with our soul, with our blueprint, with our design, with source, that enters through the crown like this beautiful golden shower of nectar into the very center of your heart, filling that chalice that allows you to maintain your stability, to anchor into Mother Earth with your head in the clouds, in the atmosphere, in that space of heaven, connecting with source, with your angelic guidance, with the beings from the other planets, the other star systems that are watching over us and guiding us. It gives you that ability to have a feeling of place, a sense of knowing your place, your connectedness on the earth with your body, with your heart, with your mind, and with your feet, and with your soul. And so you become one with God. You become the recognition that you are, in fact, God's love in expression. You become that mystical property that Shungite is, where everything that passes through your consciousness, you take it when it is negative and you transform it into positive. You hold the vibration of light, for even within the darkness of Mother Earth, even within the depth of the Shungite, is the energy of light. It is a different kind of light, but it rises up into your heart and reaches up to Father Sky to make that connection. So you are like a lightning bolt for the divine light of God to then begin to radiate with the concentric positive spin of the Christ consciousness. So you become like the living Shungite. You become a molecule of goodness that takes anything negative and transforms it into a vibration that is beneficial and that is transformative for this new time that we are here. For the new earth will come through your consciousness, through your connection between heaven and earth, and that radiation from your open heart to touch the hearts of all those who suffer with your light. To be the lighthouse, you could say you are like a piece of Shungite sitting in the lighthouse, radiating out that positive vibration and transforming everything that is negative into positive, into life force, the living spirit that is in our life. It is important to be grounded. If nothing else, the one thing Shungite will do is it will help you ground, help you come back into your body. It is important at this time to be in touch and communication with nature, to spend as much time as you can with the livingness of life, with the beauty of the birds singing, the connection with the trees, with the crown, with the roots, with the waters, with the air, the breeze, the leaves, the greening in the northern hemisphere, the sounds of the rustle, the winds, and the singing of the birds. It is important that you only eat healthy organic food, that you avoid all negative substances. One of the things that Shungite will help you with is to reverse the negative effects of these synthesized clothing and food and packaged and processed and hydrogenated foods that you eat. It is important to simplify your life, to simplify it, to be humble, to remember, chop wood, carry water, smile, crack a joke. Don't be so serious. Don't rush. Remember to take a breath. There is nothing more powerful in this universe than taking a breath. It is how you connect to your body, to your soul, to the divinity within you, and to any divinity that may still be hanging out outside of you. That breath will allow you to let go of all the stress, will allow you to release all the old patterns and all the weight on your shoulders. It will allow you to be who you are. That breath is the breath of life. It is your connection with life. Again, we are talking mystical here. It is your connection with God. It is the gift that God gave you, or goddess, of life, of the divine blueprint that you exercise through your choices, that you allow to be the way, that you change your thinking through your choice to think differently, to be positive wherever you used to be negative, to see that there is a silver lining in every cloud, that there is always a positive outcome to every situation, because everything is for learning or for enjoyment. Everything is an expression of God's love, as are we, each one. How are we doing for time?
You're okay. You have 10 more minutes.
Is that for the end? Are we doing the second one, or is this it?
I extended time for you. We had a cancellation.
All right, so how long until what time?
So the next speaker comes out at 6, so at least by 5:55.
Okay, lovely.
If you
So
want to do any kind of channeling or anything.
Yes, I want to bring forth the message. It seemed
Right.
like this morning when you told me there was space, there
Mhm.
was a message that wanted to come through from Magdalena and from the Christ, Mary Magdalene. We understand that many of you are associating the one Mary, the mother. But we want to also emphasize that all of the Marys are the one Mary. They are all derived from the great goddess Isis, and from all the goddesses that have ever been. And yet at the same time, there is this energy of the Christ that overlights, that brings forth this energy of God's love into manifestation through the hearts of the people, through the ability to have come to this planet to anchor a vibration of love, of connection with the divine. And so there have been many mythologies and many stories. And yet what we wish to bring forward to you, being the Christ and being the Magdalene, because it is known and it is understood on many levels and through many mythologies that the two are one. That in fact, because you live in a world of duality, of dualism, it is always necessary that you have a positive pole and a negative pole for the electricity to be able to travel, for energy to be able to move, for lightning to be able to land on Earth, or be it the Shungite that landed. It is necessary within your understanding of the livingness of all things that there is polarity, that it is not bad and that it is not a question of good and bad, of wrong and right, but merely of the existence of what you might call the yin yang of creation, the constant fluidic motion from positive to negative through that seed that is in the opposite, that creates what you might call the Trinity. The higher resolution, the higher transformational expression or experience. And so it is that when we come to you as the Christ and the Magdalene, we essentially come to you as an energy of oneness. You might call it the divine union or the sacred marriage that takes apart what was a oneness and creates of it a duality of masculine and feminine, creates an energy of so-called seeming opposites, and that creates of that an energetic of transcendence that creates a field of union, that creates a higher frequency that incorporates both and yet is not separate, is not divided within itself. Because everything operates in the universe according to a harmonious balance in which opposites play with each other in order to create an energetic movement, in order to create evolution. And when that which we call the supreme intelligence, that which you understand as God or goddess or creator or source or all that is, these are all terms to express the inexpressible. It is the Tao that is that which cannot be named. It is the no thing. It is the infinite potentiality as it comes into manifestation through duality and resolves into unity, back and forth. So the supreme intelligence created everything that is to have the ability to regenerate itself, to evolve itself, to heal itself, and to be itself. It is, in fact, the gift of this supreme intelligence that there is an underlying sacred geometric scaffolding, you might say, a blueprint for all of life to unfold within, such that when the seed and the sperm come together, they form an explosion of sacred geometry that unfolds and creates a new life. Is this not a magical, mystical, miraculous experience? You were once a nothingness that came into being. You were a thought in the mind of God, a seed that was planted, a sperm and an ovum that multiplied according to the most brilliant intelligence that is possible. And you became you. You became a magnificent structure. You became an intelligence that was able to mimic the very creation itself, to create life, to create form and art and beauty and music, to create the magnificent world that is your world. You also were given through this magnificent creation free will. You were given the ability to choose how to use that energy of life force, that living spirit that is in all things. And so at this juncture in your civilization, in your evolution as a species on this planet, you have the ability to choose whether you will inhabit a new earth, a healthy, vibrant, cooperative, peaceful, loving new earth, or whether you will go down the path that many planets, star systems, and civilizations that existed on your planet went, in which the negativity essentially gobbled them all up and dismantled everything. It is your crossroads time where you choose, like the Shungite, to take the negativity and reverse it into positive. To understand that your ability to trust in your guidance, to trust in that beauty of that divine union, that you have that capacity within you to bring together your own masculine and feminine into a oneness, into a harmonious balance that creates life, that creates evolution towards the what you call ascension of Mother Earth, and that you will ascend with her when you raise your vibration to those same frequencies. For the light is streaming down to you now from many different directions, from many of the star beings and from the galactic center itself, from the very heart of the Christ consciousness energy, which is the Christ and the Magdalene, the priestess, the goddess, and the God come into one harmonious union for the highest evolution on this planet now. There will be no return of some human being, the second coming of a Christ figure in a male body. This is a deception, an illusion. There will only be the vibration of the Christ consciousness that dwells in the heart of each one, that when allowed to be sparked and to come like a giant flame, it will light up the world into a new frequency that you will all be part of, because you are here in this field, this unified field of love that has been generated within this gathering here today. Know that you are blessed, that you are loved, that you have around you a tremendous field of guidance, and that you trust it. And as you trust it and have patience and listen to that still small voice of your guidance and stop the mind chatter, the negative thinking, all of the conditioning and imprints that you received in your childhoods and from your ancestors, and you reverse it all into that beautiful positive spin, that golden energy that flows down from heaven through your crown into that chalice in the center of your heart, and you allow it to overflow and fill Mother Earth and radiate out to touch the hearts of those who suffer. For you are that living energy of heart, radiating out this love of the Christ and the Magdalene. This sacred union exists. The Holy Grail is that chalice within the very center of your hearts. You can go there anytime through the breath, through the love, through the light. For they are all connected to your own God source, Goddess source. You are the living spirit that is in all life. You are the expression of God, Goddess's love, that supreme intelligence that created everything that is through love. Blessings and peace to you. May the living spirit that is in our life come forward and bring you peace. Remember the stillness, the stillness, the stillness will keep you safe. I believe we're done. Shall we open the floor?
Yes, go ahead. You could ask a question and then answer a question or two, and then you can do your door prize.
Thank you. Any questions then? You would have to unmute and somehow show up, hopefully with your heart open to ask your question.
I have a question.
Yes,
For the
please.
Shungite.
Could you pin? I want to see who you are.
Oh, okay. Hi. Do you see me?
Issy, hi.
Yes. Hi. How are you?
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for your words. It was very nice. Just a question on the Shungite. So I know some stones have like lead or something that's maybe not good. Is there some guidance on like how to clean them before you put them in your water?
The Shungite does not require any cleansing. It reverses negativity. So it automatically will create a positive field. However, because much of what is sold for water is like the regular black Shungite that can be shaped, it only has 30 to 50% carbon. And it has other additives, other minerals within it, some of which are sulfites that can leach into the water. And therefore, those of us who have been working with this field have been moving towards using only the elite Shungite, which is almost 99 or so percent of carbon. And so this will purify the water. We also recommend that if you're going to put it in water, instead of one big chunk, you use more smaller pieces so that you have more surface area to purify the water. But the elite Shungite, the noble Shungite, will not have any negative effects. There are people sometimes who have a kind of a reverse energy, and sometimes they will react in a different way to Shungite. We have some friends who are like that, and sometimes the Shungite has a different kind of reaction. It's always important for you to find a way to test for yourself, whether you use a pendulum, whether you could use a Shungite pendulum, and we have these, they're only $20, or you use whatever, even a piece of, like a piece of stone on a piece of string will work, as you create your own affinity with it to develop a yes or no. The other way you can do that is by using your fingers. If you cannot pull them apart, it's a yes. If they come apart easily, it's a no. There are many systems for checking for yourself. And we are very strongly advised that you have a way to test a yes and a no for yourself as to when your water would be ready, for instance, how long, because it would take longer to purify tap water than it would to purify water that's already been purified through reverse osmosis. I hope we answered your question.
Yes, thank you.
Any more? Well, boss, what do you think? Should we do a...
Yep. Let's do a giveaway, and you can follow him to room number 10, and the store is open if you want to ask him any questions. And
So
shopping.
Okay, so what I'm offering is actually, it may not seem like the usual gifts or surprise. I'm offering a 50% discount on any purchase of Shungite from $100 up. If you had a session with me, it would be $120 for an hour. You'd get a lot of great wisdom from my guides and angels. You'd get a transformation of your whole being. And yet, if you wanted to buy Shungite, you'd get a 50% discount. So I would sell it to you at wholesale. Is that a fair deal?
Do they get a choice? What if they don't want to buy Shungite?
That's their problem. I would recommend they buy Shungite. I would also give a reading for half price if they really don't want it. I highly recommend that you have Shungite in your field all the time these days. There are devices, scalar devices, and all sorts of things that do help and protect you. Shungite is natural, which is why I love it so much. It won't protect you from 5G, however. You'd have to spend a little more money to find a few devices like Blue Shield or BioShield that do work. However, it's not quite something I am able to offer at this time yet. Okay, 50%.
Okay, guys, so we got an auction going here. 50% off Shungite. Put in the chat a number from 0 to 100, and you can get half off anything in his shop right behind him. Grab some of those big pyramids that he has. Those are great to help with the rooms.
Or reading will also, if you prefer, you want a reading, I'll be happy. It's an hour plus a voice recording.
My computer's frozen right now.
Fortunately, I have a number in my head, so it doesn't matter what I'm seeing.
I can't see behind something, so you're gonna have to wait, my computer's frozen.
We're hearing you.
Hold on. There it goes. It just started moving again. Okay. All right. We have some numbers in the chat. We got a few people interested in going shopping. Okay. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. What is the number?
73.
73. We have Barbara Bishop at 56. So Barbara, go ahead and follow him to the room. And we have a few other people there. Sure, you can probably work something out. You got Viola, JJ, Wendy, and MJ.
All in what, 73?
No, but they all wanted to go shopping or having a session, or having a session with you.
Perfect. I will meet you all in the field beyond right and wrong, beyond good and bad.
Yeah, so go play, go enjoy him. And thank you for being here, Raphael.
Thank you, dear.
Always a pleasure.
All right.